Everyone, welcome to probably the final part of my in-depth review of the new Tau Codex, or slash updated Codex, out today. As always, my name is Jay, and in this video I'm going to go over the heavy support choices, the formations that associate with heavy support choices, and then the Lord of War, the new Lord of War, the formations that have to do with the Lord of War, and then give my final thoughts. So, what have we done so far? We've covered all the other bases, and as I said, I know a lot of people are debating. In the section, I already know about me calling the Tau Codex boring. And as I said, not everyone plays the gun line, but the gun line is what the Codex is pushing for. And it's kind of like, if you play 180 boys with orcs, it can be really boring. And that's just my point of view. Not every Tau player is boring, but this Codex, it is designed in a way to promote the gun line. Obviously, because not many things are close combat oriented, and there are a lot of rules in this codex to prevent assault, which is good for the gun line. And obviously, the new core formation is even better supporting fire, so better to prevent the assault phase. But it's okay. So we're going to talk about the heavy support today, and as I mentioned, nothing changed in the heavy support choices for points or really rules in that manner. But they got a formation, which helps improve them. So, and plus, obviously, you have to have a heavy support choice in your core part of your formation for your huntsman part, so that way you can feel the detachment. But we'll start off with the sniper team. For 58 points, you get 3 sniper drones and a sniper marksman. Cool. The sniper marksman is weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 5, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 initiative, 1 attack, leadership 7, 4 up save. And the sniper drone, which we discussed in the last video in the drone section, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2, strength 3, toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 7, 4 up save. So technically the drones are actually better in close combat than the guys. It's kind of funny. You can include up to 2 additional Farsight marksmen for 13 points each, or you can include up to 6 additional drones for 15 points each. And the Farsight marksman has a pulse pistol, drone controller, and a marker light. And the sniper drones have a long shot pulse rifle. So let's go and look up these guys' guns. So the pulse pistol is a 12-inch range, strength 5, AP 5 pistol. And the pulse rifle, sorry, the long shot pulse rifle is a 48-inch range, strength X, AP 5, rapid fire, sniper. Obviously X referring to the sniper. So it wounds on 4s, rends on 6s. So good stuff there. So as I said, there's nothing really changed there. If you liked them before, you're going to like them still. They got a formation, they got some cool stuff, and they're a lot of fun. They're a fun aspect of the Codex, because drones are always cool, and a little marksmanship team. Good stuff there. Up next, we have the TX7 Hammerhead gunship. I already did a lot. The interesting thing about this codex is they add a lot of numbers to make it more flavorful for the names. And I like the names of the codex. I like the spirit of the codex. The fluff. Some of the ways that this codex plays. I don't know. So Hammerhead gunship, still 125 points. Hammerhead gunship is ballistic skill 4, front armor 13, side 12, rear 10, 3 hull points. You get a gunship, and I believe you get jetpack infantry drones. Yeah, you get 2 gun drones, which are jetpack infantry. The wargear, railgun with solid shot, 2 drones, and has the rule for fire team, which means that if you take 3 of them, you add 1 to their, as long as you have 3 of them on the table in a squadron, you get +1 of their ballistic skill, which is pretty nice. And a railgun with a solid shot. I'll just go over the rule for that. Railgun with a solid shot. Let me see this quickly. Right here. So railgun with a solid shot. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Here we go. So railgun with a solid shot as a 72-inch range, strength 10, AP 1, heavy 1, or there's a submunition shot, which is a 72-inch range, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 1, large blast. So good. These are kind of the maneuverable aspects of the heavy support. They're the most maneuverable. And of course, I should have mentioned, obviously, my part about the heavy The big change is that obviously you can take squadrons of 3. It makes it pretty cool. Up next we have the Skyray gunship. Once again, the newest aspect of this is that you can take squadrons of 3. 115 points gets you a TX-78 Skyray gunship. They're basically same styling as before. Let's go 4, 13, 12, 10 armor. 3 hull points. You get a 6 seeker missiles, 2 networked marker lights, velocity tracker, 2 gun drones, and of course, there's a special fire team. If you have 3 of them on the table in a squadron, +1 ballistic skill. You can include up to 2 additional ones for 115 points each. You can replace both gun drones for one of the following: 2 twin-linked burst cannons, or 2 twin-linked smart missile systems, a twin-linked burst cannon, or a twin-linked smart missile system. And you can choose any of the vehicles list. Cool stuff again. Up next, we have the broadsides. Now, I was kind of thinking that it would be kind of cool if the broadsides could be taken in like squads of 9, like you could with the other suits, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So, for 65 points, you get a broadside Shazui. You can include up to 2 additional broadside Shazuis for 65 points each. They are weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 3, strength 5, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 initiative, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 2 up save. They have a broadside battlesuit, twin-linked heavy rail rifle, twin-linked smart missile system, and rules extremely bulky and supporting fire. So they don't have relentless, but there's ways to give them relentless. You can upgrade a Shazui to a broadside Shazwa for 10 points. And you can exchange the twin-linked smart missile system or twin-linked plasma rifle for 5 points. You can give them a seeker missile for 10. That's basically it. They're cool. Their guns kind of got a nerfing between 5th and 6th edition. So they have the rifles now, which they're no longer as strong as they were before, but I'll go over them. They have the rail rifle, which is a 30-inch range. Sorry, the heavy rail rifle, which is 60-inch range, strength 8, AP1, heavy 1. So it's no longer strength 10, it's strength 8, AP1, but that's good. So they'll sit in your back lines and just fire and fire and fire. They'll survive because they have 2 up armor. So they're quite a resilient choice for your heavy support. And that's it. Those are the heavy support choices. So let's go over the heavy support formation, because there's one that really is heavy support. It's called the Firebase Support Cadre, and it works with the Riptide, which is an elite choice. I know it should be a heavy support choice, but it's 2 units of XV-88 broadside battlesuits, and 1 unit of XV-104 Riptide battlesuits. And the special rule for this fire support cadre is called Coordinated Firestorm. Instead of firing independently in the shooting phase, all units in a fire-based support cadre can participate in a coordinated firestorm. When they do so, all models from this formation must shoot at the same target, resolving their shots as if they were a single unit. This includes the use of marker light abilities. When resolving this shooting attack, all firing models have the Tank Hunter and Monster Hunter special rules. Cool. You know what? It helps them kill tanks and monstrous creatures. 2 things that Tau will have issues with at some points in the game. So that's huge. Another heavy support formation is called the Armored Interdiction Cadre. And it is 3 units of TX-7 Hammerhead gunships and 1 unit of TX-78 Skyray gunships. Special rules are called Interlaced Predictive Targeting. Pick a point anywhere on the battlefield at the start of your shooting phase. The point you pick is the center of the formation's predictive targeting grid. You can re-roll to hit rolls for attacks made by models from this formation if the target unit is within 6 inches of the point you picked. That's huge, especially early on in the game where your opponent's army will be relatively bunched up. That's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful indeed. So that's pretty cool stuff. So that's the heavy support choices. So as I said, not much changed other than the fact that you can take, of course, the vehicles and squadrons. And they have a couple interesting formations, which I think would really help, giving them Tank Hunter and Monster Creature Hunter, Monster Hunter. Good stuff there. So that's the heavy support choices in a nutshell. So let's go over the new Lord of War choice, which is the Storm Surge, the KV-128 Storm Surge. One thing that makes this really scary as well is that, once again, you can take this in a group of 3. That's really scary. Now, if you take 3 of them, that's well over 1,000 points. It's 1,080 points, so yeah, but that's pretty scary stuff. So you get a gargantuan monster creature. So the Tau of a gargantuan monster creature, the Tyrannid's better. That's all I'm saying. And it's weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 3, strength 6, toughness 6, 8 wounds, initiative 2, 2 attacks, leadership 9, 3 up save. So this thing is going to be really hard to deal with for your opponent since it has 8 wounds. And unless you drop a strength D blast on his head, which you could, it's possible, not much is going to instant kill it. So, good stuff there for him. You get a pulse blast cannon, which I just should go over what he has, obviously. The pulse blast cannon, he has a twin-linked smart missile system, which is 48-inch range, strength 5, AP 5, heavy 4d6 as the twin-linked smart missile system. Let me look up pulse blast cannon because I don't remember the rule for that one. It's probably nasty. Pulse blast cannon. The pulse blast cannon is it's one of the guns that has a different range and different strength per range. The closer it is, the scarier it is. So basically, if your opponent tries to get near it, this thing will destroy them. So up to 10-inch range, it is strength D, AP 1, heavy 2. 10-inch range between 10 and 20, it's strength 10, AP 3, heavy 2, blast. And between 20 and 30, it's strength 9, AP 5, heavy 2, large blast. So, good stuff there. So it depends on how close you are. The closer you are, the scarier the thing is, which basically will teach your opponent not to come near it. But they have to come near it usually to assault it. That's where you can tar pit it. So you got to tar pit it with a lot of things because otherwise it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. It also has a cluster rocket system, which is a cluster rocket system and 4 destroyer missiles, which, as we discussed earlier, they're strength 8 AP 1, but they can be upgraded to strength D using marker lights. That's crazy. They're one-time use only, but there's 4 of them, and a twin-linked flamer. Special rules: stabilizing anchors. Basically, this guy can deploy his anchors, and if he deploys his anchors, he can't move, but he fires twice as much, basically. So, in your shooting phase, in addition to firing normally, a Storm Surge can begin deploying its anchors. From then on, the Storm Surge cannot move under any circumstances or make stomp attacks, which is good, because that would be too OP if it could make stomp attacks as well. Its feet are anchored to the ground. In the shooting phase of your next turn, and in each subsequent shooting phase, a Storm Surge with its anchors deployed can fire twice, making it really, really scary. The Storm Surge can retract its anchors at the beginning of any of your movement phases, and then move, shoot, and make stomp attacks normally. Okay. That makes sense. I don't know why, though. No, because your next turn. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. You can include up to 2 additional Storm Surges for 360 points each. You can replace Twin-Linked Flamer for one of the following: Twin-Linked Burst Cannon or Twin-Linked Air Bursting Fragmentation Projector for 5 points each. Any Storm Surge may replace its Pulse Blast Cannon for a Pulse Drive Cannon for 15 points each. Let's see what a Pulse Drive Cannon does. Pulse Drive Cannon is 72-inch range, strength 10, AP 2, ordnance 1, large blast. This thing's scary. That's all I have to say. This thing is scary. And that is the Storm Surge in a nutshell. So the Tau now have access to one of the scariest gargantuan monster creatures in the game. There aren't that many, of course. There's like the Wraith Knight that's frequently played, but the Tau Storm Surge is really nasty. For 360 points, I think it's pretty well points costed, because, if not under, because if you look at the price of an average Imperial Knight, they are significantly more expensive. They're at least 15 points more expensive to 65 points more expensive, and gargantuan monster creatures, in my opinion, are better than Imperial Knights. So, cool. And of course, we have some formations that involve the Storm Surge, of course. And there's 2 that involve the Storm Surge. The first one is called the Heavy Retribution Cadre. And it is 1 unit of XV 95 Ghost Kill battle suits, and 2 units of Storm Surges. So that alone, this is a really expensive formation because 2 units of Storm Surges alone is 720 points base. And it goes kill battle suits. Special rules though. Optimum fire position. You can reroll failed to hit rolls for shooting attacks made by Storm Surges from this formation if the target unit is within 12 inches of a Ghost Kill battlesuit from this formation. That's crazy. So you send up the Ghost Kills, or if they're at the front of your army, you can destroy whatever's in front of them. Craziness. And the Monsoon Devastation. If an enemy unit is chosen as your target by at least 2 units from this formation in the same shooting phase, that unit cannot run or make flat out in their next turn. In addition, such units must have the result of any charge rolls they make in the next turn, rounding fractions down. Down. So basically, whatever you pick your opponent's big nasty, shoot them twice, destroying most of them, and then whatever survives will not be very likely to assault because they half their distance and then get a lot of Overwatch in their face. Once again, another device used to prevent your opponent from getting into close combat with you. Let's see, the next one. I think there's one more that has to do with it. Maybe not. Nope, just that one. Okay, so that's it. So that is my review of the new Tau Codex. So let's give them final thoughts and everything. As I said, improved Codex, the ability to take squadrons of any of their big vehicles or their monster creatures or their gargantuan monster creatures, huge. In my opinion, this Codex did get more of an update. I don't think they should have called it an updated Codex. I think they should have called it a full new 7th edition Codex because there's more new information in this Codex than some of the other new 7th edition codices out there. It has the formations, obviously. All of them are pretty awesome, other than maybe the one with Kroot and Vespids. I don't see that one being taken very often. The ability to take monsters, creatures, and squadrons, huge, and they get a bonus for doing so. The core formation gets an increased range for supporting fire, which is just almost broken because now everything will just fire in your face. As I said, this army is designed to completely make sure that the assault phase never happens. And if your opponent plays a gun line, it will be really boring for both players because one player will not do anything the entire game besides shoot, and the other player will just die. Yeah. So, unfortunately. But, what else? I like the new formations. They're good. The new models, they're all pretty sweet. The Ghost Kill's cool. The Storm Surge is really awesome. Yeah, I think they're now right in line with 7th edition. They're going to be, as I said, the gun line, in my opinion, will be boring. But people will disagree with me on that. There are some interesting things in this Codex, which people can choose to play. I just feel that the Codex is pushing towards a certain direction that is a little bit boring. It's okay. So, that's it. It's a solid Codex. It's very competitive. Very competitive, I think. It will be a very powerful Codex. They still have a little problems with some maneuverability issues, but I think they'll be able to fix that with certain squads. And yeah, I think the relics are good. All the new drones are cool. Like the amount of drones that they added into this Codex, cool stuff. A bunch of different drones do different things, cool stuff. And I think it's good. So that's my review. So what do you think? Most importantly, what do you think about the new Tau updated Codex? Leave comments in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed the series. Stay tuned for more Codex reviews. Till next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.